Okay, so here's something crazy. Did you know that AirPods are the best-selling pair of wireless earbuds in the world with a massive 20% of the market share going Apple's way? Now compare that to Samsung, the biggest smartphone brand in the world, yet only the third largest player in the wireless earbuds market, selling less than half as many earbuds as Apple. Yeah, that's a huge gap, but this year things are going to be different. Because with the new Galaxy Buds 4 series, Samsung is not just trying anymore, they are finally getting serious. Both the regular Galaxy Buds 4 and the Buds 4 Pro are so damn good that they make last year's Buds 3 series look like some kind of science experiment gone wrong. No, seriously, which is why I really wanted to know if Samsung has finally delivered a proper AirPods killer this time. I promise you this is going to be a super interesting video with some fun surprises along the way, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is their noise cancellation, and you know what, let's do something different, because instead of just me going on about my experience as always, I think it will be more fun to do a little demo. So here's what's happening. I'll bring out a few of my colleagues, I'll have them listen to a bunch of simulated ambient noise, and they are going to help me with my little ANC experiment, for which I've set up a couple of speakers here and there. One of them will play airplane cabin noise to test how well they cancel out low frequency noises, and the other will play office white noise so that we can test their ANC against mids and high frequency noises as well. Then I'll slowly increase the volume on both of the speakers, and once my colleagues say that they finally hear something, that will be the cutoff point. So yeah, that went pretty much exactly how I expected. The AirPods Pro 3 is better at noise cancellation than Samsung's Buds 4 Pro, and it's honestly not even a close battle. Both of them get rid of the consistent low frequency noises under roughly 250 Hz just the same, but the AirPods are also unbelievably good at shushing out the sharper, higher frequency noises like someone speaking next to you or the passing traffic, for example. The AirPods is just the best ANC I have ever heard on a pair of wireless earbuds, no debate. And it's not just ANC either. For years now, Apple has also been leading the game when it comes to transparency mode. Meanwhile, Samsung, they weren't even in the top 3 before. But now that I have tested these two for over a week, I can confidently say that the Buds 4 Pro are the new king of transparency mode. Yes, this one was such a close call. Both of them do such a great job at letting in the outside noise. But ultimately, what I liked more about Samsung is how natural I sound here. Whereas on the AirPods, it's almost like my voice has been put through a digital metallic filter, and I don't like it. Oh, and before I forget, they both have a conversational awareness type feature that automatically lowers the volume of whatever I'm playing when I start speaking. Now, what about sound then? Does the Samsung Galaxy Buds 4 Pro also sound better than the Apple AirPods Pro 3? Well, the answer is yes. Samsung's earbuds have always had that potential to sound incredible right out of the box, but the problem was that I always had to mess around with the equalizer to get them sounding just right. And don't get me wrong, as much as I love customizing how my headphones sound, the reality is that most people simply don't care or just don't know about things like equalizers. Apple, on the other hand, understood this from the very beginning, and the AirPods always had this one-for-all kind of tuning that works great for all kinds of songs. Nothing really stood out, and that was exactly the point. The AirPods Pro 3 are the same, with a slightly boosted sub-bass and a slight treble extension for a bit more mainstream sound. I am not exactly in love with it, but I don't necessarily hate it either. The good news is that Samsung took the same approach as Apple but pushed it one step further this time, because the Buds 4 Pro is the first pair of Samsung earbuds that I have loved listening to immediately. No need to customize anything. It's got an expansive, energetic sound, fantastic separation, and a wide sound stage that I am sure more than 99% of people are going to love. The Buds 4 Pro clearly has more emphasis in the bass and the low mid-range region, which means compared to the AirPods, it ends up sounding a lot more fuller and livelier in most genres of music. From hip-hop to rock, jazz, R&B, and workout, I would pick Samsung over Apple any day of the week, easily. I was listening to Hotel California the other day, and its instrumental outro, I could feel the actual impact of the kick drums so much better on the Buds 4 Pro. The only aspect I like more about the AirPods Pro 3's audio is that it's got more energy in the treble region, especially the upper trebles, which I find missing on the Buds 4 Pro. But like I said before, I can always EQ the Buds 4 Pro if I don't like its out-of-the-factory sound, unlike how Apple does not let me customize these earbuds natively. Samsung lets me shuffle between different pre-built equalizers as well. I can create my own, or I can even fine-tune it based on my hearing ability. How cool is that? The other thing that's really cool about these Samsung earbuds is their support for high-res audio, but I should tell you that it only works on Samsung's select flagship phones, and most streaming services like Spotify, Apple, Tidal can't even stream true lossless music over Bluetooth. Then again, if you've got a ton of lossless FLAC music files, you will most likely notice nicer audio with the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro's high-res codec. I say likely and not definitely because I listened to at least a few dozen lossless music and their regular lossy version on Spotify, and I could not tell any difference in 1/3 of the songs. So I know you guys have been waiting to hear me talk about their call quality, but let's take a look at their design for a moment, starting with the AirPods Pro 3, which looks incredibly similar to the OG AirPods Pro with not a lot of changes on the outside. The one thing I will say is that Apple's new foam-infused silicone tips versus the regular silicone ear tips on the Buds 4 Pro are pretty amazing. They both fit me just fine, but the redesigned ear tip on the AirPods definitely helps a lot with passive isolation and ultimately better ANC like we saw before. Whereas I think Samsung has finally nailed it with the design. The triangular stem on last year's Buds 3 Pro felt awkward to use. Its blade light felt super gimmicky, but this is great. The Buds 4 Pro's metal strip feels so nice, and now that it has identical pinch and press controls as the AirPods Pro 3, I haven't had accidental touches with these earbuds. Samsung has also brought head control gesture to answer or skip calls like on the AirPods, and an IP57 rating to protect it against dust and water damage. Its case with this cool transparent lid does not have any IP rating like with the AirPods, but all things considered, I am more than happy with what I'm seeing here. Battery life is next, where Apple dominates Samsung by lasting nearly 50% longer. I was getting anywhere between 8 to 8.5 hours of listening time on the AirPods Pro 3 versus roughly around 6 hours on the Buds 4 Pro. Oh, and if you enable the high-res codec thing I mentioned before, you should expect it to last an hour or so less as well. And while we're talking about ecosystem features, I love how both Apple and Samsung have added their own unique flavor to these earbuds. I guess the AirPods Pro 3 stands out a little bit more with stuff like literally being able to use it as a clinical grade hearing aid. It also has a very reliable heart rate sensor to track how you're doing in your workouts, while the built-in speaker in its charging case to find it easily, and Apple's tighter Find My integration itself is something that I wished Samsung would copy since forever. The Buds 4 Pro, on the other hand, has its own set of unique features that set it apart from the AirPods. I already talked about the audio customization before. Then there is AuraCast support that lets me listen to public audio broadcasts directly on my earbuds, hands-free control to adjust playback or volume levels, and even some niche features like 360-degree audio recording. But maybe my favorite thing about these earbuds that's absent on AirPods is that it comes in more than one color. Yes, you can find the Buds 4 Pro in white, black, and a lovely pink gold finish, unlike how Apple does not give me any choices in this matter. Alright, I want to talk about their microphone quality, and let me give it to you straight. The Galaxy Buds 4 Pro is the clear winner here once again.
They both sound pretty great in an easy indoor space like the one I am in right now. So let me take you outdoors so that you can hear the difference yourself. And just so you know, I have enabled the super wideband speech feature that is supposed to make my voice clearer during calls, but I am struggling to find a difference between it on and off. Alright everyone, now I'm recording the audio from the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro in a crowded area. And finally, this is the microphone quality from the AirPods Pro 3 in this relatively noisy environment. Hi everyone, this is a microphone sample from the AirPods Pro 3 while I'm sitting on the back of a bike. Alright everyone, now I've switched to the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro. I'm sitting on the back of a bike. Let me know whose microphone quality you like.
Okay, so I'd better wrap things up now. So just to recap, here's a quick summary of how the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro and the AirPods Pro performed in different areas. Samsung had the better sound and clearer call quality. Apple had stronger ANC and longer battery life, while they were more or less tied at everything else. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, the Buds 4 Pro are really the AirPods Pro for Android, like everyone else say. Of course, you are going to miss out on a couple of features if you pair it with a non-Samsung phone, but even so, I feel so comfortable recommending it to Android folks, whereas the AirPods continue to be an iPhone's best friend as always. It's actually honestly a very great time to be an audio enthusiast, no matter if you're locked into Apple's walled garden or if you're rocking an Android phone. So which one would you choose, the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro or the AirPods Pro 3? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're there, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Saying this, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.